This is a Millions interview. I'm Shane Mercer, and I'm here with Kyle Gunz Up Stewart. You got a big fight coming up. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, feeling great, in shape. My buddy asked me the other day, how's training camp going? Well, I'm tired, I'm sore, banged up, beat up, so I guess you could say it's going pretty damn well.
You know, you're fighting a guy, Zach Otto. It's an ex-MMA event. Just tell me a little bit about the fight, a little bit about the event, how you're feeling going into it.
MMA is a regional show, but there's going to be 14 different UFC veterans on the card. I'm one of them. Zach Otto fought in the UFC for a while as well. So it's going to be one hell of a banger of a card. If you tune into xmmatv.com, you should be able to watch the link that they had posted there.
You often talk about veterans issues, very close to your heart. Tell me a little bit about your time in the military.
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps in 2007. I deployed to Afghanistan 3 times. I was an infantry guy. I was a machine gunner. So that's when I started training in mixed martial arts and fighting. And I was pretty good at it. So I got out of the Marine Corps with the idea in my mind that I was going to pursue MMA and wanted to make it to the UFC. And I think I'm one of the lucky ones in that when I got out of the Marine Corps, like I had a purpose and something that I was moving on to. It can be rough being in the military, and a lot of guys are so happy once they finally get out, but they don't have anything to move on to. I feel like when I look around the veteran community, there's a lot of guys that have gotten out and they struggle to find something to gravitate towards. It's almost like you live in this heightened sense of purpose and significance to where now you're just in the civilian world. Nobody's life relies on you to do your job well. You know what I'm saying? You feel like, oh man, when I was with my boys, I was significant. I was a part of this team. You know, we relied on each other and we took care of each other. Now I'm in the civilian world and it's just like, I'm not close with anybody. I'm not connected with anybody. You know, and I went through that struggle too. But like I said, I had MMA. That's what makes me feel alive. You know, that's what gets me excited. It's something that we need because we used to live in that. We need that chase. We need that challenge. That's been my purpose beyond fighting, delivering that message and being an example for that.
So you kind of used, you know, MMA and fighting to kind of fill that void and create that purpose.
Exactly.
How did your time in the military shape your fighting style?
I don't know if it shaped my style. I think it definitely made me harder mentally. You know, I don't know if I'd have had the testicular fortitude, for lack of a better phrase, to get into a cage and fight another trained man in front of all these people, had it not been for my experiences walking across the poppy field knowing I'm about to get into a gunfight. You know what I'm saying? And when you're walking to that cage, you get that same nervous feeling. You're like, why am I doing this? I've lost fights before, and I've been in gunfights where you've seen guys kind of curl up and they don't perform, they don't act. They're just like internal. I'm gonna remember you for that, regardless of what happened. So that's what I take when I go into the cage. I'm like, man, if I go in there and I get beat up and I get knocked out or whatever happens, like, I'm just not going out like that. And I'm not going out quietly.
Most people cannot relate to being in a gunfight, and most people cannot relate to fighting in a cage, right? These are two things that, you know, the average Joe just has never done.
You know, there's certain things in your life when it's like you try and explain what it's like to do something to somebody and you're just like, well, if you've never done it, I can't explain it to you. When somebody's shooting at you and you got to take cover and then you got to pop up and you got to fire back knowing you could catch one. When you're walking to a cage and the referee asks, like, are you ready? Are you ready? You look over that guy and he's ready and you're like, here we go, let's do this. I think life is about those moments, man. You got to find those moments in life where you can experience something that you can't explain to somebody else. I love that. I wish I had more experiences like that in my life.
Is it an adrenaline thing?
It's not necessarily an adrenaline thing. It's just that, like, there's so many people, I feel that they just go through life and they don't seek those moments. I remember certain operations that we went on and I was like, I actually was there. I did that. Same thing when I was making the walk to the UFC with the Marine Corps flag on my back. And I did that. Life is a book, man. Life is a story. You know, I want to write a bunch of awesome chapters in my life story.
You know, you went on a long winning streak. It was like win, 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 win. You know, you found yourself in the UFC, you got there, and then it just didn't happen for you.
When I started my MMA career as a pro, I was training at a small gym, and I was full of confidence. When you win and win and win and win, when your confidence is rooted in your experiences, you can be as confident as you want. But if it's not grounded in things that you've done, either in the gym or in past fights, then it's blind confidence, it's arrogance. You know what I'm saying? My confidence was grounded in the work that I was doing in the gym. And then I took my first loss. I was 10-0 when I took my first loss. I was training at a small gym, so it felt like I was kind of like a big fish in a small pond. And then I changed over to that gym at the MMA lab where I train now. I think it was like a culture shock to me. It's like everybody in this room is special. So like I thought I was just special, but everybody in here is a badass. You know, I went from a small gym to a world-class gym where I was getting beat up every day. So I had no confidence. And then it was like, oh, now you're in the UFC. And now I'm in the UFC and I'm like, wait, I found out there's a whole bunch of holes in my game that I didn't know existed. So now, not only am I aware of those holes, but I don't have the confidence to execute. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if you make it to the UFC and you're not ready to go, it's not going to last long, which is exactly what happened to me. I wish I was in the UFC now with the mentality and the skill set that I actually have now. It'd be a different story. I'm fighting Zach Gatto. Like I said, he's a UFC veteran, was in the UFC for a long time. So I'm going to go out there and beat him up to prove this is the level that I'm at.
What do you feel like you have to do to go out there and get that W?
Well, I can't give away too much. It's like I said, the caliber of dudes that I'm training with. Right. The difference is now the success that I'm having against these guys. When I came into the gym, I was the nail. Now I'm the hammer. And then I have that same confidence that I had going back to before I took my first loss. My confidence comes from experience that I'm having in certain moments, in certain positions in the gym, whether it's wrestling, whether it's boxing. And I train with really good dudes. Like Jared Cannonier is my #1 training partner. He's getting ready to fight Israel Adesanya for the belt.
That's a big fight.
Benson Henderson, one of the all-time greats at lightweight. He's been helping me out with this camp. And I know how I do with those caliber of fighters. And when I compare that to the men that I'm about to be fighting, it's going to be an easy day for me.
Trying to go back to the UFC, is that the goal? Is that what you're hoping this fight will lead back to the UFC?
I can only play the cards that are dealt to me, right? When I'm done fighting, I want to open up my own gym. I want to make money. So if somebody comes to me with an offer, be it Bellator or the PFL, and I have an opportunity to go make waves in another organization outside of the UFC, then absolutely I'm going to do that. I'd love for it to be the UFC, and the UFC's coming here in May. In my head, this fairy tale starts to play. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to knock this guy out. The UFC's going to come to town. Somebody's going to fall out. They're going to call me, and I'm going to fight Arizona in my hometown and get back into the UFC and win. What a story that would be, right? And I want to live for those moments in life where you can write a movie off of things that you do, you know. But it just starts with going there and beating this guy up. And then we'll see what offers come down the line from there.
You know, you just talked a little bit about after MMA, you want to open up your own gym. I mean, is that a life after MMA or is that a life of MMA continued?
It's a life after competing in MMA.
Yeah.
I've been in martial arts my entire life. I was so obsessed with martial arts. Like I remember like dating girls and being like, have you ever been in a fight? Did you win? Did you lose? What happened? Because it was always something that I was good at. I remember I got in a fight with this kid in high school. There was a UFC event that won. It was Chuck Liddell versus Quentin Rampage Jackson. Rampage knocked out Chuck Liddell. And then after the UFC party, there was kids in the backyard and they started having fights. And I'd done martial arts my whole life. So I was like, well, I'm good at that. Like that I'm good at. The whole being a cool guy, popular guy, ladies man, you know, that's not me. But I'm really bad at trash talking. So like you'll never see me be like a Colby Covington type of guy. But anyways, this same kid that used to always trash talk me and banter with me was like at that party. And I was like, I'll fight. And like, hey, do you want to fight this guy? And I was like, yeah, I'll fight him. Because in my head, I was like, oh, I know I'll beat him up. Because I know like I'm good at fighting. And nobody could believe that like Stewie is what they called me in high school. Nobody believed that Stewie was going to get in a fight with this kid. Like, because I had no chance on my social status of where I was in high school. He was way cooler, you know, and I was just a dorky kid that was third string on the football team, you know. And so we fought, and then I whooped this kid's ass, like, real bad. He's like, man, if I'd have known, like, you could fight like that, I never would have talked shit to you.
People don't realize that cool doesn't win fights.
No, it doesn't. But I've always been into martial arts. Like I said, I did martial arts when I was a kid, up until the time I was 18 and joined the Marine Corps. And even before I even got to MMA, like when I was a kid, I wanted to open up a karate school, like because karate was the thing. And now that it's changed, you know, there's jiu-jitsu, I've done boxing, kickboxing, MMA. That's what I want to do. But I don't want to get into that until I'm done. I want to make my legacy right with me, and I want to make money while doing it and open up my own gym. That's how I want my story to end.
It would be a fitting ending to what's so far been an incredible story. Us here at Millions, we're just excited to watch you finish this story. You know, nothing left now to do except let's go out there and let's get it, man.
Let's go.
All right, bro. Take it easy.